little bit of relief. I don't have any idea where to take this thing out. I mean, I should have some kind of an idea. It just went up to 60 there. I mean, that's crazy to hold this thing. Like, we're long at 50. We just held that against us 25 cents. Kind of crazy to take it out when it comes back in the money 10 cents. Let's see if it can get back up to this dropping spot here, $100.79. Let's just put an order right there right now in case we get back up there. Like I said, we'll get some out at 75, and then we'll put it a little bit higher than that after that and see if we get something out in the 80s for that trade. But we do have it, whoopsies, we do have a new trade on. We just got filled again. Oh, come on, Softy. I thought this one could be a nice little, we did actually have a winning trade on this, but then not any longer, as that just came in again, and it looks like it's going to take down this 267 area. And if it does, we'll get out. Like Neil said, I'm just trying to like throw some darts at some of these levels and really hope that, not just if they hold, I mean, these are quick scalps, and it's going to, I mean, it costs money every time you lose, it's bad. But at the same time, that very bottom, and again, we'll look at it again, you know, if this doesn't work out for us, we'll look at it. But that bottom for Softy, in that, remember when they reported that miss, or sorry, they guided a little bit lower on that last play there? First of all, I got to call this up, because if this rips, then I got to have something on board. MSFT, I mean, I already have it on board, but I got to get Microsoft? Out. We're long at 16 or 17. Yeah, no, it was the guide, right, that I was trying to talk about there. Where's the 20-minute? When they guided lower right here, it was that bottom of, no, that's 20-minute. It was down here. 265, it was 260 though, wherever that was. Down here, it must have been this day where, no, it's not this day. Anyways, whatever the day was, where Microsoft reevaluated their guide. They went from, what, to that 260 area? We're still far away. I'm just saying to you, like, Microsoft has the ability to continue its movements to the downside here. So, you know, let's not get too crazy. There's that bottom that I was 50 cents on it, we'd be happy. So let's see where this can go from here. But Microsoft right now continues to bleed to the downside. Yeah. We're long at 17. It's not the end of the world on this break, but still, a break is a break and money is money. And it's going to be coming out of my account in about a minute here once we break down through 267. So Microsoft can't find a bottom, it seems like, either.
Yeah, it's frustrating because like there's a lot of shorts I had this morning, and it's just I didn't see re-entries into them. There was an opportunity, like I said, to get into short in Tesla. I didn't, but when I see this happening in the future, you break a shelf like this, you head 30 points down on the ES, and then we're right into support on Tesla. It's just for a day trader. If I had a short pop, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I did like Alibaba and ended up scalping. I should have just hung on to some of Alibaba. But for Tesla, I was going to go long all day off of this level. If it manages to hold here, fine. Like, it's just one of those things where the futures is flushing and you're actually trying to hold a reasonable bottom of previous support in Tesla. So I like the risk to reward. If we get a bit of a bounce, I think we can get back into the 30s. But if it takes out that 722 half, it's not the quarter, 722 half, we're just going to have to walk at the exits. And then for AMD, it's just that 100 level. And when I say I'm angry at myself over Alibaba, you can always make two trades, right? And one of those can be, like, you know, just get into a few more shares and say, okay, well, I'm going to scalp a portion of it. You have the same stop on it, but you know, say I want to hold a little bit more, and then that second entry point, yeah, the first half, I'll have like a stop at that high or like 10 cents above it. But the other one, I'm going to give it an extra like 40 or 50 cents on the second half, but I'm going to hold that short for a bigger move down into that 110 level. Now, remember Alibaba 110? Oh my goodness, why is this what happens in a flush? As a day trader, is everything comes into a support level that you really liked before, and then suddenly you have to ask yourself, do I want to be long Tesla in front of that 22 and a half? Do I want to be long also AMD at 100? Do I also want to be long Alibaba down 8% at 110 as the market is flushing? My quick answer is no. So I'm not going to put the Baba at 110 trade on. I'll just stick with these two. And if I'm going to go over two on them, there's no need to jump into a third. If the market is going to make any kind of a bounce here, obviously the other two are likely to work out. You don't need to throw another one out into the ether there. And I promised I'd show it to you guys, and the market's going crazy, and I don't want to lose sight of this, because I don't know if anybody remembers back to like day 2 on DWAC. Day 2 on DWAC, there was a GameStop day, there was a day on Sundown. If you watch the show long enough, you know in all three instances, I'll tell you, but the only thing that went right in PBTS is that I wasn't short 30 times. Or 27 times on that DWAC day. It was about a dozen times short. And I even said to a couple of people, and thankfully one guy listened to me, it was Greg, The stock's going to 150, but I was not patient enough. Like, we took our nice little tight stop shorts here, and then we waited. I did not wait for $1. I decided to play it off 90 cents instead of waiting for $1. It's fine to play it off $1. It's fine to play it off the halt trade where it actually started working, 125s into 105s. But each one of these other little dart throws where you're just losing 5, 10 cents at a time doesn't make any sense to do that. And then you know what happens when it finally makes the top? You never have enough shares because you couldn't get squat at 148. I got a tenth of the size at 148 that it was just handing you to all those other shares. So when it does eventually make the flush, yeah, am I going to hold on to some of it right now like I still have a bit out of sheer revenge, thinking it doesn't really matter. Maybe it can actually break back below $1. But the truth be told is if you can't execute it where you're trading the same size at each level, then it means that either you need to scale down at these levels or understand that you just got to wait out for that one trade at the top. And the risk of that is that you don't ever catch it. Like, you don't actually get in when you really want to get in. That's just part of the game. You've got to be willing to miss the trade to get the trade. I know it doesn't make a ton of sense, but trust me, it makes a lot of sense in practice. You've got to be willing to miss the trade to get the trade because the trade was at 150. And I think I even said it, Dom, that at 150 made sense. And on top of that, another note, it was a quarter of a cent for locates. That is insanely cheap for a stock that was moving as much as it was, which meant that anyone and their mother who's a prop trader at this firm or anywhere else would have been like, it's going up on no news. I can just short it to oblivion. It's going to come down. It has to. And it's really cheap for me to make that trade. A lot of times you're paying a higher percentage to make that trade. Everybody would have been looking at this way too crowded. You had to let people get flushed out over and over again. I didn't get shut down, but I deserve to get shut down today on this stock. There's no question about it. It's really just out of pure frustration that I stopped trading it and then waited for the 150. Because once it stopped 135, I was like, this is stupid. Stop doing it. Anyways, back to Tesla, back to the market. I promised myself I was going to talk about that one for you guys and pick this moment to do it. Tesla did bounce off that 722.5. Oh, I have a wicked 690. So anyways, the low of the day looks like it was 723, so very close to getting to that bottom. Not quite to that low. Now trying to make a bit of a bounce. I'm just looking for an out in front of that 28 level, an out around that 30, and out somewhere in that 35. I don't know if we can get to 740 today. If you think the market's strong enough that we can make that kind of a bounce, congratulations. I'm not sure I want to hang my hat on that. So if I can get the first leg out somewhere around here, I don't know, probably in front of like 727 half, and then 730, 735. That'd be fantastic here on Tesla. AMD, it's getting close to that 100 level, man. It's kind of barcoding down here. I think it's going to give us that shot, and I do want to see what's on the bid. Like, that actually matters, right? If there's nobody on the bid at 100, I didn't get a look at it just now because I was ranting. Did you see the bid?
No. I mean, I've been buying more ahead of this. I got back into Microsoft. I got back into everything. And yes, now 50 cents in the money. Remember our loss? Look where we got this: 20s, 12s, out 97s. That's an average loss of about 15 cents. We're now in the money 55 cents on this trade, right? So you go back and forth with the name. We are now positive. How you like that, Microsoft? We're now positive on that name here. I shouldn't have said that because now it's probably going to tank back down and take all that money away. But right now, Microsoft, that's what you do, man. And there it is right here. So sometimes you got to try to catch those falling swords. And there's Meta as well. We just pumped into that one long. This could be very, very dangerous. We are back long Meta, a hell of a lot of shares. I got to get some out. Yeah, and look, I didn't get any more of that AMD. Obviously, I was sort of giving you guys that little bit of a rant, but I think it was an important one. And trust me, I think put it in the chat there. Like, I actually had a single trade in Sundial once that was worse than like that collection that you saw there. One shot on Sundial that was once worse than that. AERC, it's so easy to get distracted and get away from some of these because look at the way that I ended up bouncing off VWAP. In my defense, that was a pretty heavy wick that you saw. I'm not sure you're really getting 1050s or anywhere close to 1060s. It just wicked down and recovered. So it looks like it's trying to go, showing a little signs of strength there, that AERC, and always worth looking at, guys. But finally, now AMD's down at that $10 level. Looks like it's finally going to get to go. If you're looking for something that I felt like could have been, I mean, WFC, I know where it's going. I'm a little surprised Peloton is doing what it's doing at this point. Ugh. Like, if Peloton's like this is actually testing a resistance level, interesting. But this 1140 level on Peloton does look like it could be a little something for a short side trade. Now I get a look at AMD, by the way. That bid,
I don't see much of anything on that 100 level. Maybe
no.
it gets closer and there's something there, but I'm not really seeing much of it. I'm shocked at Peloton, 1140. I mean, if the market goes to the upside, I don't want to punch long Peloton 1040. 1140, but if the market wants to make a fresh low, I don't mind taking a short, risking 5 cents on Peloton. But at this point, Tesla might reclaim those lows. I did trim some to ensure that we get some profit on it. But now AMD 100 on the horizon.
Oh, man, that AMD 100. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for sure as that's coming out now. Or not coming out, but coming into play right here down at that Hyundai mark. So watch out for that one on AMD. Okay, yeah, things aren't great over here. So we'll have to just continue to watch this, man. Meta, I would love for that thing to go back to the upside. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or not right now for Meta. So watch out for this one coming back up to the upside right now. We just got a piece out on Microsoft again as that tried to make a move down, came back up. We're just sort of trying to lick some of these wounds here. Like I said, it's not really up. But Microsoft right here trying to go back up, and then there's AMD right now staring that $100 in the face. So as this comes back down, watch out here. It's going to take out 100 for sure right now. So watch out for AMD coming into play down at 100. Really. So watch out here. 40 cents of the money on Softy. That seems to be the name that wants to work now. Here comes back for Meta, back to life a little bit here. The only problem with Meta is it's had a hard time breaking through. So hopefully this can come in and we'll be able to get out. But as you can see, I can't even, it won't even break. It breaks 188 and stops. Hopefully that can come through right now. Meta is on my watch right here, back down through 188. Look, it doesn't, I think there's too many algorithms on this name right now. When you see it locked up like that and doesn't want to break, there's something happening here. So Meta right now, I feel like I'm in trouble on this name. So we'll try to lighten it up. Microsoft's obviously working, and there goes AMD off that $100 level. But Meta seems to be a problem. I really want it, it needs to break this 188 and hold. But right now you can see it just keeps on printing dark pools, and doesn't want to go through. So I'm going to have to adjust this.
Yeah, here's the level 2 on AMD for you guys. Right now, I only have my NASDAQ book going deep enough. So now that it's bouncing into the teens, when I scroll down, you can see there's the NASDAQ book's got 39,000 shares on it. I saw a couple, that's the biggest gateway. I saw a couple of others for 15, 20,000. So look, I get it. Those are not small numbers, but it's on 80 million shares, and it's a pretty significant level. The market is bouncing. You think it would grow a little bit. It's not nearly as big as I might have thought, but it's not, there's some serious selling that has to take this out for it to get through that, obviously. But it's not a gigantic level, maybe not as big as I'd anticipated. I did scalp some out the first time, so my price is 11s, only because when I got some at 25s or 30s, I did get some out at 50. But if it breaks, I'm not really thinking about, I got Tesla here, so I'm not really thinking about holding it past that level. I could see a wick bottom, but I'd rather get wicked out of this and maybe try to hold on to Tesla and then regroup. If it does a wick bottom and hold 99.50, I think I can always get back in. Although as I say that, it's 325, which is a little bit later in the session than I was anticipating. We are much closer to the close than I thought. So it's a one and done. It might just be a one and done here. So it just broke. And I remember I turned around, someone said, it's big size on AMD. I'm like, that's not that big. It took it out, it saw it on the bid, and took it out. It was on level 1 and gone before I could even flip to it for you guys. That's how fast it took out that level. So I'm out of it. The only long I got left is that Tesla long. We'll see if it can hold. Maybe I get a shot. I should have just gone into Peloton, but it's not really moving. I'm kind of surprised this isn't flushing further than it is. AERC, which is the runner I was looking for, not exactly the kind of entry that I would have looked for. Another capitulation into the support level. Nah, man, you got to at least try to consolidate here to give me some kind of an entry point. It just feels like, look, AMD at 100 is a big difference between, pick it up at $100 and I'm holding it till, until my daughter's 18 or till whenever, forever, till I pass, whatever it might be. There's a big difference between that and buying it here and then trying to get out of it in the next 10 to 15 minutes, right? So I'm going to stay away from it, at least for now. Coming back over to Tesla because everything is challenging these lows. It had a nice bounce. Like I said, get some out in front of that 27 area, but right back to these lows of the day. Brendo? Oh, sorry. Actually, yeah, I know Brendan was actually going to talk about ALT. Yeah, that just resisted a down halt, by the way. It tanked, resisted exactly that 10% mark, 845, right down into 780. Not exactly, but very close to it. What will happen is you'll get a capitulation flush, and a lot of buyers will look to that halt band, and they'll just try to stick their bids in, saying if enough buyers pull in at a previous support level and it doesn't halt, the shorters that got it up here are gonna be covering en masse. You get a nice little recovery bounce. And really, has this stock really actually taken through more than one level at a time? Yeah, it's pulled back, taken out one breakout level, but never the second. Not even taking out one here. And in this particular case, it took out one breakout level, but I wouldn't jump into the long here because I don't like getting in when you have that large. Once it puts like the near 10% move in, I'd only look the other way. Brendo?
I'm just going to mention that ALT. Also, there was a note on Tesla. Day lows, guys, for Tesla. This just coming out. The U.S. Traffic Safety Agency saying the step before a possible recall.
Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, like, don't hate the messenger. Look, you don't want to trade blind. That's probably going to get Tesla through the low of the day. So the last of this trade is going to likely be a loser. ARC, hold it down.
Oh yeah. Halted down, okay. It seems like some of my stocks are gonna be halted down in a couple seconds here. AMD, we're down now 80 cents on this trade. It did break through 100. I just, like, now the NASDAQ's starting to ramp up a lot, right? And so as that continues to move to the downside, here goes AMD again, following it. We'll take it one more time. We do have that 99.50. That could possibly be there, man. And yeah, that's gonna be a tough trade. Microsoft was a good one. I mean, we made it all back there on Microsoft, almost all back before it fell back down in one more time there. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. The market on closing balances are like not good right now, about 800 or so to the sell side. So that's not very nice. What just happened right there? Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft just came out a little bit. No, sorry, we bought more down there at the day's low. That was strange. I didn't realize I had a bid down there. So let's start to clean some of this up because you got to make sure I don't get into too many positions here before we get going a little crazy. So we'll have to watch out for Microsoft coming back down, Meta coming back down as well. We said, like, the thing is, we were able to get out of the way a little bit of this Meta because remember when it was at 188 and it was like something's going on here. It's like it's not breaking. They definitely want to sell this to the downside. And you can see even right now, I still feel like there's something fishy happening here. Like it doesn't want to take out these offers. Every time it tries, they line it up again. I know it looks like it's happening on both sides, but realistically, it can't get going upside. So we'll hold on a little bit to this and see where we can go. But so far, not great here today as these downside moves continue, man. And that's what, like, I'm pissed off about a lot of stuff because we started the day short, right? And I tried to hit 118 short. Look at these Amazon trades. These are all shorts here, but we covered a small piece, and then it just kept on tanking like that. I mean, Alibaba, these shorts up here, like, thank you, come again for this one, all the way to the down, like 110, like, are you kidding me? So right now, we're just gonna have to watch and sort of try to lick some of these wounds as we go. It hasn't been a great trade today here in the afternoon to go long. We know CPI is tomorrow, man, and a lot of these levels don't seem to care about anything as the downside pressure continues. Look, even Meta, man, like, the market's not bouncing, and neither is this name. This name is sick right now, down to 187. This is low for Meta. Like, Facebook just yesterday, just a couple days ago, was actually at $200 right here. This is yesterday. What am I talking about? Yesterday was 202, right? Straight shots fired right to the downside here on a new symbol alert. Meta, like, where's it going to stop? Thankfully, we last bought this in the 170s, but you could see that very, very soon. Taking down 187 right now. Then after that, like, I mean, how far are we just going to keep clicking downside before we find some support? We should have got out there on the 188 break. We tested it. It looked like it was faulty. So now we have to sort of pay the piper here by holding this $1 against us. So Meta just continues to make a move to the downside. And to Yaz or whoever that was that put that was a good opportunity. I can't say that there wasn't any opportunities to short. I saw that 188 on Meta, and I should have taken that into the short side. So, can't blame that there's no opportunities. There is. That was a good reload spot. I definitely take responsibility for not being long or short, reversing out of the long and into the short on that one. So, yeah. I mean, I could cover.
There was a couple of other opportunities. I mean, I'm out now. It's like, could have reversed AMD at 100. Alibaba gave you an entry point. Maybe on the way back up here, AMD at 100 could be a bit of a thing. I just want to quickly, because it will open back up, by the way. ARC is going to open because we're not that late in the day. It's indicating a flat open. Watch out for $9. It had the wick off bottom there. When sometimes all rugs get pulled at the same time. So watch out for any of the high flyers. If I'm forgetting to look at one, It's not on purpose. I'm just looking at these big caps and trying to think of ways to get into the short. I might just, Peloton's not moving enough. Otherwise, I would have taken that short off 1140. The volatility didn't feel like it was there. AMD, if it's going to be a short the pop situation, fair enough. I think we have a chance to still run. I'm going to quickly slide over. We broke that first support channel, I'd say rather convincingly on the ES. The bigger one is looming about 20 points down from here. So there's still some room to the downside for this. And I know we're going to get some possible indications as to what that imbalance might be going into the close. It would have to be something to give this market a bit of a bounce. No idea yet what it is from Financial Juice, but when we get it, we'll let you know. I don't know if it's going to help much, though.
I thought I saw someone type it in. It was 800 or something. Yeah, 808 million. So
okay.
808 million to sell to the downside here. So not great here, as we're going to hold out for a little bit more pain here as this market's trying to bounce around a little bit. I mean, to say that this market's bouncing when it looks like this is just not, just close the chart, is not correct, because it's not really bouncing. I mean, the market continues to go down. We're going to load it up again here. Chart should load right there. Here it is right here. So let's just look at this one more time. Ooh, that's not good, as Meta doesn't want to go up. I mean, I don't know why I'm long this name when I've just identified that. But right there, man, the market's trying to bounce off this 12.350, and yeah, with tomorrow looming, CPI coming tomorrow morning, this market only has a half hour left before those numbers come out, basically, right? So yeah, that's not great. People not expecting great numbers from the CPI, as the NASDAQ right now ticking lower, 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 and our net is going lower, lower, lower as well, as we hold on to some of these longs, and the longs just aren't paying off. There's no love for this. There's no bump back in. So yeah, just this pretty sick market here today. So we'll have to recover from this at some point. There's Meta right now breaking through 187. So we'll give this one a little bit more to the downside as we're against us $1 now. Microsoft's against us 30 cents, and AMD's against us 60 cents. So yeah, I mean, I'm holding these shares. We're sweating it out a little bit here, but we're still not really at any sort of levels for me to get out yet, but we're getting pretty close, man. I don't really have one for Meta, which sucks because we're already below that 188. I should have reversed into that short. Let's see if it can hold out. But hey, if this market's going to sell off, the best decision is to get out now, right? Because the more I hold on this, the worse these things get. So let's just be careful here. That there's some targets there. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Typhoon? I mean, before I even said that, you are 100% right. As I look up and you say the same thing. No, I can let go of Meta. I feel like it's just so far down. I feel like when I get out. But someone just said there, take the loss. There it is right there. What's up, Typhoon? It's not.
The risk reward makes some sense. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to take a 110 break down on BABA. I don't want it in the range. I want it when it's coming out of the range. I didn't punch AMD when it broke. 110 and Alibaba will go for it. Brendo.
Just a heads up, guys, on AMD. I mean, the whole market coming off here, but there was a special analyst event from AMD that started at 3:30 there, so a heads up.
Good time. Yeah, I hope someone upgrades them during that event, and we'll see what happens. But I'm still here on AMD, man. I mean, the market. And again, I feel like if I sell, it's going to go. But, you know, whatever. We just made, something's bouncing back up here. We just made a little bit of money there. It probably was AMD. AMD was as low as, 99.40. And, yeah, my net is swinging like, I don't know who, like something pretty hard right now, as these moves are pretty nasty and pretty dangerous right now. AMD right back to the upside. We could take a little piece out and start, like I said, just start to like, figure this market out a little bit here, but a nice little spike now back up. So yeah, let's just, I mean, whatever. We'll take a little piece out here on some of these names that we've been getting clocked on a little bit. That's 186.30. And again, like we're out of the money on Microsoft 11 cents. We're out of the money on Meta $1. We're out of the money on AMD 50 cents. Like this is not catastrophic. It seems like it is because the way this has been happening, we keep complaining about this market going to the downside, and that's exactly what it's doing. But at the same time, there are some trades to be found every once in a while. So Neil just reviewed a few of them for you as well. That AMD back upside, we're trying to clear some out. We just took a little piece out there. We're in the high 70s as well to get. I mean, I might just take a little piece out right now again. Money on these, and then we'll call it a day, a -1. But if that imbalance is coming out at -800, Oh man, it's probably even more now. There it is.
see.
Yeah, see the market just drops right back down there. So we can't even take a break here. This market just keeps on spinning to the downside. Take out some more. The reason why I just keep on getting out more AMD here is just it's the one that's actually retracing back upside, giving me some relief there. So hey, if it wants to go up, I'll be here. But for now, let's take some out as yeah, it's not getting any better for sure. As per Typhoon Trader there, we've basically gone straight up since COVID. Yeah. I think it's a healthy thing to pull back. I mean, obviously, this right now has nothing to do with COVID. This has to do with, the policies that were implemented during COVID, right? The government has to raise rates now. We've seen what inflation's been doing. You just go fill up your gas tank and then, tell me how that felt. But yeah, these are some of the problems right now in the market, and they're not getting any better, right? So unfortunately, the market wants to see that CPI reading tomorrow. It's going to be most likely, if you take what happened this afternoon as anything, it's going to be pretty nasty. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Meta just keeps getting clapped. Microsoft now going to the downside again. So, I don't know, man. This big tech is the wrong space to be in, man. Like, probably the banks might be holding out okay in this kind of a rally.
I doubt it. Here's actually...
Well, better than these tech.
Yeah, better than possibly. I think one of the things, and Frank made a good point, I was showing you guys a 60-minute for the futures, which I usually do, but I'll pull up the SPY on a daily just to get an idea of what just happened. Like when I said we were in a range, I know in the 60 minutes, it's the same range that I would have shown you, but this is what it looks like on the daily, on the SPY. Hugging the 50 period, bouncing, rejecting the 50 period, not even getting that close to it, to be honest with you, and then breaking the channel to the downside. Like we just broke this channel here, right now, on the ES. So, when we say there's downside room, that is a huge capitulation. And sometimes we say when in doubt, zoom out. It's pretty instructive because that's a significant level that got taken. I know there's some support a little bit lower than this on the ES, maybe like 15 or 20 points lower. But that's a significant level that got taken out on the SPY. And when we did, you can see the acceleration. That's why you're getting so much acceleration to the downside. There are individual names that are trying to catch bids here. AMD's back up to that 980.
Yes, sir.
We talked about... We've been looking at Tesla a little bit here. That's actually holding the 720 level for now. I'm not going to jump into that long. We'll mess around with AERC. If it holds below 10, I'll try to hold that into the close, see if it does another capitulation in there. I think you already talked about Microsoft. Alibaba, which I showed you, is continually holding this 110 level. I don't know how it's happening, but Alibaba just had a wick bottom, failed a break. It got about 8 cents, and then snapped right back to the upside. I mean, if it held below, it's just like, yeah, go short. But it doesn't even want to hold below 110. So one of the weakest names all day long, one of the only shorts that we had on here today, is showing relative strength, which sometimes the market doesn't make sense. I don't want to jump into the long trade. I still want it to hold an offer below here, and then I'll just jump into the short side of the trade to see if I can catch that trend. Starting to get some shares out of AERC on the way down to 9 even. Obviously, if I want to get it out at 10, I'm going to be taking a win all the way down to 9 even and trying to hold some just in case it does another. Probably not going to halt, but another flush down. But right now, my eyes are fixated on this 110 battle in Alibaba. If you wonder where that level comes from, it's quite simply where this went too far there. Where it broke out yesterday it just went gangbusters when it took out that 110. It was the previous pre-market high. You saw it just start accelerating when it got through 110. It then put a hold just below that level this morning, and then you have a bit of a battle happening, which looks like it's being won by the south side, but it still can't go more than 5 or 6 cents below 110, which is just not enough.
We just took a little bit of advantage there on that pop up into AMD. I mean, getting out of some of our longs, and then it retraces right back to the low of the day. So, we are, like I said, we are trying to lick some of these wounds, and especially on AMD. And right now, we haven't averaged into Microsoft at all. This is the name that I thought had a chance to go upside. I think a 266 break, we already talked about that level. That's probably enough to say see you later to that stock. 266 break, and it sucks, man. Like, that's really... so the position that I'm the most upset about right now, I'm not overly upset about anything. It's just like this Meta, it's just like it's $2 ago. Like that's where we're long, man. Like we're long at 188. I could have been out of this trade with very little damage done almost no damage done at all. but we're not. And that's the part that sucks because we're holding on to shares. It's $2 lower, and we sniffed it out at 188. Like that's, we were talking. I mean, I can even go back. We were talking about that right there. I was like, look, it's not breaking 188. Got to get out, and we did. These are actually winning trades right here. But the problem is, it just after that, there was absolutely no love. And it couldn't get going. Every single time it bumps up here, I mean, first of all, the futures are down. So there's really been no bumps. But as I watch this, every single time it tries to bump up, it just, like right there, it goes to 186.05, and you're like, okay, and then boom, 186 comes. So there's a lot of work to go upside there, and it's so much effort to get this name going that I mean, I'm going to have to drop this probably right here. Let's just average this out. But yeah, things getting worse here as the number probably is growing into that closing imbalance. So watch out now. This is going to be a wipeout bottom for sure on these futures. So watch out, man. CPI tomorrow, obviously being priced in. So I just got to get out some more meta and just sort of say that is what that is on this stock.
I know, even like BABA, we might be slowing down. Like, I'm looking at the ES, which isn't slowing down. I'm watching BABA finally hold below that 110 level, and it still won't go. So sometimes you just got to understand, like this name, for whatever reason, and I could probably come up with a reason, which I shouldn't say here. There's some buyers that tend to defend this stock that might be in play holding it at this level, which is why I shouldn't have gone over to it. That's going to be my guess. But I did. I'll give it a tighter stop than normal because it is A, late in the day, only 12 minutes to go, or 13 minutes to go until the close. But B, if it doesn't want to go down in a market like this, like let's not fight it. The bigger mistake was why am I messing around with Alibaba in AERC when look what AMD, 99.80. It's like, okay, well, you want to short it. You get so accustomed to anchoring yourself to 100, not willing to just jump into it right in front of these levels, which you got to do sometimes, and that would have worked out. I mean, Tesla continues to flush, could have reversed that off the low of the day. It's only gone a couple of dollars, but you know what? At least you're jumping into the trend. The real trade on Tesla, I think, to get into the short should have been the 730 break. And I think what ends up happening to you is that you get anchored to a support level, and I was anchored to a support level from yesterday, which didn't allow me to want to short here, because I was looking for a long here. Now, does that make any sense? That's a good channel, right? Like, understand that that's a scalpable channel. You know there's going to be liquidity in there. It's unlikely to make one stop in through there. It's $4 or $5. I scalped Tesla for $4 or $5. It could be a trade that you make, and that should have been one in there at 730. So we'll take Alibaba. We're in it. ARC, we're in it, but I don't have as much hope as I did a second ago because we're continuing to push down on the ES. Like, give me a break. Like, this is what my futures chart is looking like. We're still chewing down, now 5 points away from the next support on the ES, and BABA won't go a cent. And I'm staring at AMD that I wouldn't take.
Oh, man. Yeah, same thing happening for me right now. We took a little bit out. Oh, no, we didn't. We actually didn't get any fills there. I thought we got some fills at 40 there on AMD, but we didn't. So here it comes right back in when we have 2 minutes until we get to see what's going on right now. Someone just said their wife is leaving them. Sorry about that. Or maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. I don't know your relationship right there. But hopefully your wife doesn't leave you or you didn't put in too much money into this market. I mean, it's pretty sick right now. So, yeah, let's just wait to see. I know that's fun. I shouldn't comment on that. But that's pretty funny anyways. So, remember, this is just trading. Obviously, we do it here for a living. So we eat what we kill. So it means a lot to us. And I hope it means a lot to you trading anyways. But some of these longs, like this is the thing. You got to make sure that you put the appropriate amount of risk. I mean, like I'm here sitting here talking like, oh my God, this AMD trade is just so horrible. I mean, honestly, I'm out of the money 70 cents. Like, the only real problem, I think anyways, is right here, Meta. Meta is really the only problem. It did bump back up there to 188.90, and I'm just upset about how I executed it. So to the downside goes Meta. I mean, everything's getting hit probably. I don't know why. Why did I just call it Virgin Galactic? I don't know. That's down to 672. Let's check out DraftKings was another name that continues. It was a big move the other day. I think it was up 10 or 15% the other day, only down 3 today. So, there are think so. So we're just going to keep getting out, make this day a little less or more tolerable here so that I too can stay married.
I don't want to worry about that, but yeah, the imbalances looks like is really, I still don't see anything too crazy. We have seen some moves before, but just sort of coming back to the overall futures there. I'll throw the SPY up because I guess it's the easiest thing to do for you guys. S&P 500. A lot of times I'll talk about the NASDAQ. I feel like today, just because of the levels that got broken, that's the one to look at. We just made a huge wick bottom, bouncing off that other support level. Remember I talked about 40.25? We just bounced off that with a huge wick bottom on those imbalances. So it felt like it sold right into the next level. And what makes me sick about this is, this is almost sickening, right? It's like, I've had this line drawn for like a couple of weeks. When I filled in for Arun, some of these levels here, this is what we're holding. Sometimes it's as easy as the floor breaks, you hold below it, and then it goes right down to the next level. That is a capitulation. That is it's not a rug pull, but that's like a clear breakdown, right? And sometimes you just got to look at that higher time frame, that higher level, and understand, find what you like to the short side. Maybe it's the futures themselves, the SPY, the Qs, whatever you like, wherever you want to express the trade. But that's as clean as it's going to get. And I had these for a couple of weeks. I didn't even make a trade there. So you got to be able to do that sometimes. You get caught up in the individual names that you've been watching because that's where your comfort level will be. But man, that's about as easy as I've seen in a while. Still some earnings to go. Well, a couple of earnings to get to that are important. What's on the board for tonight and tomorrow morning, Brendan?
I'll show you in a second here. Guys, at that analyst event for AMD, the CEO saying total addressable market over the next 5 years, $300 billion. Take that for what it's worth. They also said they see a down year this year for PC sales. So just a heads up, AMD back to the downside on that. Here we go. Not much to see, but only one that we'll talk about.
Surprised that it's not down more than that in a risk-off situation, holding its 50, holding the 50 period. It did break. Well, it did attempt to break its shelf. It didn't really follow through. Maybe it's because of the uncertainty going into earnings. But this is one that I know is going to be on our watch tomorrow, right? If you don't think there's going to be some volatility over in DocuSign, I just got to double check to see what are we looking at for DocuSign's float in there. Yeah, you know, it's not really as short as I would have thought, only about 6.5%. So that's really not that bad. It's about where it is in the chart, which is trying to hold the 50 period. It's got close above, 1 day open and close above, and it's about to close just barely below, which if it were to fall from here, you've got some obvious resistance levels that you can play off of, and then some clear room to the downside, right? The risk to reward at this point feels like it's going to favor tomorrow morning. If we're below 88, which we are right now, you're going to favor some of the shorts. But that's going to be that line in the sand level, that 88. Got to see what happens where the chips lie tomorrow morning.
Yeah, for sure. So there you go. We just give you an example of making a little bit of money back there. As Meta popped up and we were able to get something out in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now, obviously, it's coming back down. I'm just going to cancel all my orders now because it looks like we're going to get taken out on the bottom here of a lot of these trades. So we were able to make a little bit back. Obviously, you saw us pop out there on AMD. So, I mean, we're still in these names as they get worse and worse for us with only 3 minutes before the close. Like I said, man, the market has 3 more minutes in it before that CPI number comes tomorrow at 8:30. So obviously pricing in the worst. This is kind of cool. Honestly, you may get an explosion tomorrow. If that CPI number is not nearly as bad as they're thinking, you may explode. I mean, you're down 2.6% here today. And yeah, so I don't know. That's something definitely to look at there on that number. So have a look at that tomorrow on that name. Ooh, that's, I went short on Meta there. I don't know why. Oh, that just ripped up to the upside. Oh, yeah, because we got out of some. So look, my accidental short here on Meta is probably going to print now, so that's great. But yeah, so far, you know, not a very good day here with only a couple minutes left. I'm just going to manage some of these trades and get out of them. You know, the AMD one wasn't that bad. The Microsoft one, it was really this Meta trade that, you know, turns out to be, you know, the cat's meow here to the downside. So that's really the one that sort of broke our back on that. And I just feel really bad because that 188 showed me that that wasn't going to hold. And I should have got out, reversed it, and then we'd probably be positive now, but we're not. So that is what that is, and here it comes back into the downside. See, we get out at 185, and then it just starts printing us short. So now that's going to be a good trade for us. We're getting out of everything else, AMD, Microsoft. Microsoft got really bad real quick there against us, but again, you know, noticed getting out. That was it. Now we're just bleeding to the downside, 265. Tomorrow, 260 Microsoft should come into play. But yeah, this day got really bad real fast, all thanks to Meta.
And I should have held on to AERC. That actually did get to $9. I did take it off because we got a little bit late in the day. With only 2 minutes to go, I was actually perusing my quote board here. And this is not the entire market. It's just what I happen to be watching. 15, 13. Like, look at all the numbers that are just more than 5% to the downside. I looked at what is up, and it is a list of just a couple of energy names, small cap, UVXY, which that's not really up, obviously. And then Costco and Home Depot are going to finish in the green today.
Ooh.
So, remember we were talking about Costco and that little retail rack,
like
and it held up
Costco.
pretty well? Well, guess what? That's not red today. So sometimes you file these things away, like what isn't complete ass on a day like today? And Home Depot holding 300. Although I say that, Home Depot is literally at 300 right now. So it has 90 seconds to prove me wrong. With 1 minute to go, a big shout out, obviously. Today, if anyone watched the show all day long, which you all should. Prad couldn't make it in today. Luca couldn't make it in today. Ian and Tony handled the entire midday by themselves for the entire time. Just an unbelievable run for both those guys. So thank them. It's just crazy. And then of course we got Tony himself back to handle that bell in a few seconds actually. But this market, by the way, the market did not stop. Like, I mean, give me a break. Like, I drew that line, and we're now through support and continuing to fall down here on the ES. Like, where there actually wasn't even a bounce off that level. Sometimes it's about those floors breaking. I point it out and take these shorts. If it's an individual equity all the time, just not today for whatever reason. Should have just punched the futures short when I couldn't find anything that worked because I had the levels in there for the futures. I'm just not used to trading them, to be honest with you. But enough of that nonsense. We got about 15 seconds to go. Put the camera on Tony. Put a smile on everyone's faces because he always lights up the room. Let's get that countdown going, boys.
There he is. It's Tony. It's Tony the Tiger there, getting ready to ring it with only 3, 2, and 1. Hit that bell there, Tony. And we are now closed for the day. And what a crazy day. Like, I don't even want to honestly, like, the fact that we were thinking about short today and I held all those longs into the close, big, huge mistake on that one. Look at what Meta did there into the close. I mean, it just, like, I finally went short there.